Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of No Man's Sky. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. And we're back on our little building character here. And like I promised, I built a small and functional base right on top and integrated it pretty much with the trade outpost that we were talking about earlier. So here it is. Because of the crappy weather, I built it glass walls so you can, kind of run around and look and see what ships have landed. That way if something interests you, it's out there. Like, what's that? Unfortunately, you can't use your little scanner through the glasses, or through the glass, but you can instantly just teleport down and teleport back up. Let's take a look at the base from down below. See how it's delicately balanced up there on top of that big post that sticks up. So it's kind of cool. I'm going to let the weather clear up and we're going to take a closer look at everything. Alright, well the weather finally cleared up. So let's take a look at this puppy and I'll show you we used everything pretty much that I talked about that was important for the initial tech. The base terminus there, the teleporter. Of course, a medium refiner. We've got some of these planters here, and I put nip buds in there because, they're worth a few bucks. And we'll go check that out. They're also contraband, so you got to be careful with these things. You don't want to be flying around with them. They're basically the equivalent of space weed. And if you get caught by sentinels, they'll try to take them from you, or if you don't give them up, they'll attack you. And that can be a pain in the butt if you're not ready for it. We also threw in the Galactic Trade Terminal, and I'll go trade these in right now to show you their value. I mean, they're not incredible, but, there's $500,000 right there for 12 of them. We got a little teleporter here. And then on the roof is where we built our batteries and our solar panels. And as you can see, there's no wiring for them, and that's because I do have the thing hiding the wiring. I think it's right down here. Yep, oops. I just kind of stashed it here out of the way off the side of the base there. Better look from this angle, I think. Where is it? There it is. See? So, pretty cool. So yeah, we can go up and down real quick using our teleporter. That way if we see a ship that we want to investigate, we can do that. And kind of dig this kind of a build here. You can expand on this all you want. This is just the very, very basics. But yeah, you can make fully functional bases up here with everything you need. Everything your little heart desires. But we're going to look at something else regarding base building next. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we're going to take a look at something I don't use very often, but this is a great option for a newer character that you don't have a lot of time invested in. You don't have all the resources to have the cool scanner for your multi-tool that lets you find hotspots of minerals and so forth and so on. And that is the autonomous mining unit. So, an automatic harvester for the mining of resources. Once it's activated, it extracts minerals without the need for supervision, providing a regular yield until the site is exhausted. So, this is a way to basically drain these things without having to use your little gun. Looks like, alright, limited 5 in a total area. Okay, I bet you we can avoid that with the wire glitch. The way the wire glitch works is we select a something like this, or a refiner, for instance, where you're very limited on how many you can have. You get it selected, you hit triangle to go into the wiring thing, and then you hit triangle on the place button, which in the PlayStation 2 is R2, at the same time. And you see it lays down more. than you could normally lay down, right? Pretty cool, huh? You look inside. Get them fueled up, I guess. I don't know what it's taking to fuel it. Carbon or condensed carbon. Okay, so yeah, take some carbon to fuel them up. So they're not going to run forever. That's kind of a good way if you got something near your base to start extracting things from it. I don't know why it's acting so glitchy. Maybe because I have too many of them. Hey, look at that. It's weird. Keeps booting me out. Yeah, let's get all these operating. Every initial time booted. Yep, why not that time too? Alright, come on. This isn't something I've really messed with before. Look at that. But look at that, it's already gotten 5 out. And they only hold 250, so it's not something that's there for, you know, for you to gain a lot of stuff, but I wonder, you know, it probably is going to extract more than you could extract with your terrain manipulator. I don't know, we'll have to see how that works. We'll come check on it in a bit. I know you only get a few hundred usually out of these deposits of, you know, copper and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we don't really need facium for anything, but it was close by and convenient, so I figured we'd take it. It's basically a big pile of dung. I'd hate to see the creature that dropped that there. It's the size of Godzilla. But yeah, there's that. That's a cool one. Another cool one that you can put down. Let me drop. And this is a great one for early game because oxygen is probably, and I've said this in other videos, one of the most important things that you can get in the game. Oxygen will make you money. Oxygen will turn into carbon, which will turn into condensed carbon. Oxygen is just a big, it charges your life support. It's a big important thing. It's needed to build some machinery and all that. So you do have what's called an atmosphere harvester. And the atmosphere harvester has to go on the ground. You can't build it on, like I wouldn't be able to build it up on my base. I wouldn't be able to build it inside my base. I wouldn't even be able to build it next to my base if I had a little piece of like floor panel down. See, let's check it out. See, it will not work on there. Must be placed on terrain. So we're going to go ahead and place, you can build 3 of these. Limited to 1 in the local area, okay. Well, there's the wire glitch again, allowing us to, you know, if you don't mind glitching, you can beat the system a little bit. Oxygen harvester requires carbon, once again, to run. What's nice is you get a higher yield of oxygen than you get carbon in there. I think you put in 80 normally on a normal mode, and you get out 250. So that's a pretty good growth. So you could actually fill it up and make more carbon. You know, if you're low on carbon, it could be used to gain carbon. You can recover your carbon and still come ahead in oxygen. So those are very useful as well. There's another useful item that we should have talked about in the first one that I didn't even think about because it's such a minor and common piece of technology, but I highly recommend it at any base. And that comes over here in the portable stuff. That's the save beacon or the save point. Whichever one you've got, it doesn't matter. They're both equally useful and they both do the same thing. I kind of prefer the save point just because it's a little smaller and less obvious. And this is great because it, boom, lets you do an insta save when you are at your base. And this can be important, especially in a base like this. If you're searching for a specific ship, a lot of times what I do and what other people do is they'll save off and reload the game real quick to get a fresh batch of ships landing, because sometimes it seems they get stale, sometimes it seems like maybe they ships stop landing. It gets kind of complicated from here and there when you're ship hunting. So I recommend one of these. And go look at the save options here. You have two types of saves in the game. You have an auto save, which is just something that happens throughout the game. I think it's timed for every 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have a restore point, which is this. That's a restore point. You know what else is a restore point? Is jumping in and out of your ship. That's a restore point. But I do recommend putting down a save point, and it's nice because you can pick it up if you want to move it later on. You don't like it there, you want it over here, you got it. So nice thing to have. Another important reason to have one, I think, when you're base building is, God forbid your base or the game crashes or something. Now with the autosave feature, it's not that big of a deal anymore, because at most you're going to lose 5 minutes of work, 4 minutes and 59 seconds worth of work. But back in the day, holy cow, you could be building for an hour, and you got too complex, you flew too close to the sun, so to speak, and the game crashes, and now you are screwed because you lost an hour's worth of work. And anybody who's gamed for any amount of time can attest to how frustrating it is when you've done a bunch of stuff and you've spent some time and your game craps out on you, and now it's like, all right, I just wasted that hour and all those resources, or not even the resources, you gain those back, but you'll never get the hour back. You may be a guy that only has an hour to game after school before you got to do your homework, or you're in trouble, or you might have a full-time job and a wife and a kid, and you only get a little bit of time at the end of the night, to game, and to waste it all doing something like that is frustrating. So look at these things. We're gathering up lots and lots of doo-doo. It doesn't look like it's emptying the resource node, but that's something we'll have to look at in the long term here and see if that happens. Alright, we'll get our shit back down. We're gonna go look at a couple other things. See, even though there's landing pads here, I like having my own landing pad for a couple of reasons. One is, if you're hunting ships and you land on one of these pads, you actually get one less ship landing, or it takes a little bit longer for the ships to come in, as many of them to come in. So, because you're taking up one spot. I think you can get 5 without your ship down there, but if you have your ship down there, only 4 will land. So it's kind of nice to have your own, because this doesn't impact the ships that are landing there. Alright, back onto the technology. So there's a couple other pieces of portable technology. Early on in the game, of course, you want a construction research unit, because it allows you to, we'll look at it real quick, it allows you to get some blueprints using the salvage data. But it's very limited on what you get, as you can see. You've got some basic tech, and then you got some timber, stone, and alloy structures. And that's it. But it's enough to get you going. And as you can see, most of the important stuff I told you about is in here. The base teleportation, a save beacon, not the one I use, but hey. The solar panel, the battery, the wiring. The rest of that is basic building parts. Now, how did I build this? So, when you are building, you have a couple different things you can do. You have a tab here full of large structures. These are basically prefab building parts that are easy and quick to use. Then you have these 3. Timber, stone, and alloy structures. These use different resources as their base, so that might impact what you want to build with. If you've got tons and tons of carbon, then you're going to want to use the timber. If you've got more silicate powder, you're going to want to go with the stone, and if you've got lots of ferrite dust, you go with the alloy walls. So, and they all offer you the same options for the most part. I mean, they might be slightly different looking, especially when it comes to the roofs. Some cool variations on the roofs, but you can mix and match the different types of structures to build custom buildings that are cool looking. You could build a basic wooden floor, put stone walls on it, and then put a metal ceiling on it, metal roof on it, and have a cool looking base like that. So we'll go down and take a look at some of these basic pieces and how they work. So let's say we wanted to build a little quicker way to travel between here and there, and we wanted to build a maybe small little cabin around this place, or next to this place, a little workshop or something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll start off with wooden floors, and we'll do this with multiple different textures to make it cool. So we'll select a nice big wooden panel here, although I tell you what, I like to do this first. I like to just lay down a wall, and it doesn't have to be a tall wall. In fact, sometimes it's better just to lay a short wall down, and then I like to build on top of that with the floor. Oh, that's right, we need two of them, I forgot. Or no, we don't. I think we just didn't have the... Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, yeah. So the problem I had there is I had free placement enabled, right? Which will not clip these things together. And the way to switch that in and out is by pressing down on the D-pad. So as you can see, now it will clip into place, right? And we'll go into build mode by pushing in the L3 button. And then we'll place these down. As you can see, by hitting R1 and L1, you can spin it. And very often, if you're not paying attention, sometimes one of those pieces will spin on you, and you'll have all these nice wood planks going, north and south, and then this one over here is going east and west. And if you don't notice it until you've already done a lot of building, I'll tell you from experience, it could be aggravating. So then I'll remove that little wall, and I'll take a regular old timber wall, and I'll just surround the whole thing to give it, it raises it up off the ground a little bit, doesn't give you that silly floating base look like we have here. And no matter what you do, you're never going to find a perfect, excuse me, you're never going to find a perfectly flat piece of ground to build the base you want. And if you do, God bless you, man. That's a wonderful thing. So we got the wooden floor. Let's go ahead and build like what will look like a concrete foundation around it. And we'll do that using the stone wall. And as you can see here, you got those little two lines up there that indicates there are several different parts available, variants. So we'll hit the triangle to look at the variants. And we see we have a base, a mid, and a top. And the top and the base look very similar in this case. Neither one is really going to make a big impact. I do like the mid look though, because we just want it to look like basic concrete, right? We're even going to have to go lower on that one corner. See that? Go all the way around this building. And all that put into place, and then because, yeah, this would aggravate me even though it's only a tiny little thing there. But now it's all covered. So check it out, we've got concrete base and a wooden floor. We can go to the walls. Let's say we wanted to go back to wood for that, right? And the walls work the same way that they do with your mid walls, your base walls, and your top walls. If you don't select a certain type, they build up on their own. Like this is going to be a top wall because it's on top of another one. That's why you don't get the base one there. But if I put this here, it turns into a mid wall. See how that works? So let's go ahead and just do a basic build not connected to that. So we automatically get the base wall. We get a top wall, but if we put a third level or a mid wall, then we get the top wall over there. So those are your 3 wall types, and that's how that works. It's a little confusing the first time you mess around with it. Not gonna lie, it it got me. I think that was a fairly new update. I hadn't played for a while, and I don't remember that being an issue in the old days. So it is what it is. So works the same way with these little thin walls, which are basically just walls half the size. Works the same way with these large timber double windows and stuff like that. Timber doorways, timber frontage. Now these are cool. These are really cool because it gives you kind of a unique look to your building, right? I like those. Then you've got extruded walls, which are basically walls that just have little parts sticking out there. And if you use these, you end up with those funny corners, but you have the wall cap that you can just slap right in there. Right? There it goes. And that smooths it out and gives it a good look. So there's a lot of variation in the building and how you can make your base look. I believe there's also an extruded large window. Of course, it's facing the wrong way. There we go. It's kind of cool looking like that. And then we'll put the end caps on there again. Get in there. Sometimes it gets a little wonky when it wants to clip in. It's all about the angle, the way you're facing things. Looking at these things, I'm getting to thinking that they're shrinking that a little bit. Not sure though. All right, and to finish this off, we can just we'll do one more window, and then we'll do a doorway. Let's do. I don't think they've got the cool frontage for that, no. But we can do an extruded timber glass door. Pop the end cap on. Seems like a lot of times it's easier to build with the building view, which of course is done by hitting that L3 button, lets you go into the building camera mode. All right, so now we've got the very, very basics. Let's slap a roof on this puppy and call it a day, right? So we wanted to go with a tin roof, basically. Go all the way down to the bottom here, and you've got so many different options for roofs, it's not even funny. You got these corners, which I like, and on a build like this, it's an absolutely perfect way to top off the building. And we do need a way to get up into our little house now, because it's just slightly off the floor. Now, it's not bad. It's not enough to be a real issue, but it is enough to aggravate me. Especially when you're trying to get into your little house there and you can't, because you get like stuck on a silly lip or something like that. That one, yeah, it's not lined up properly. There we go. You see, it didn't do much. It just put a little step down there, but it's still tough to get in. All right, so here we are. We're inside our cool little building. Looks pretty solid overall, right? I think we got, yeah, looks pretty solid. I'm liking it. I'm liking the wooden walls, the tin roof, and the concrete base. Now, we talked about Oh, that's frustrating. There we go. I put the little stone step in there, and it just gives us a little slab out there, which looks much better. Yeah, that lets us get in there without getting our foot stuck. That's really annoying. Nothing worse than trying to go into a base. You're like, imagine tripping over your, your front door frame every time you walk into your house. That would just be aggravating beyond belief. All right, so back to it. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a way to quickly teleport over here, and hopefully we're not too far away, but we'll see. I don't think we are. We put a short-range teleporter in there, and I'm not going to be able to get up there for sure with this character, so I'm just going to quickly bring my ship down. I'm going to get up top, and we're going to provide some power. And yeah, we're going to break our rule and park here, but we're not ship hunting anyway, so it's no big deal. Still haven't found this guy in an S. I would like to do that. As I spend time at this base, I will be watching that. But yeah, we'll put another teleporter right here. And we could run wiring down to it. I don't think it's going to be too far, so let's try that and see if that works. That'd be cool if we don't have to do any more wiring. And you can connect it from too close to Starship. Okay, so this is one of the most aggravating things you're going to find when you're building, and that is your Starship location will screw things up when it comes to wiring and stuff like that. It's so frustrating, dude. I can't even begin to tell you. So yeah, a lot of times you want to move that thing out of the way. Me parking there was not a good idea. I'm making this video kind of early in the morning, so yeah, I'm kind of like, the brain's only halfway working. But yeah, that was a terrible idea. Okay, let's try this again. And well, this time we'll just bring the power down. So we can connect to any of these and bring it on down. And as you can see, it connects just fine. And now that thing is powered. What you can also do is connect from here. And we're going to bring it all the way down to here, hopefully. Oh, look at that. It connects just fine. So now they're both powered up, and we still have to do our teleport cable. As you can see, it lights up right in there. You don't even have to see the thing. There's only one connection for it. And if we get close enough here, we should be able to... Yep, there it is. That's how you set up a teleporter, right? And as you can see, the teleport line shows. That doesn't hide like the electrical cable. Boom. Instantly up there, right? Oh, we need to go get some poop? Boom. We're back down. Oh, hold on a second. We don't have any room. We gotta put stuff in my ship. Boom. We go up. And we head up inside, take the other teleporter up. You can have multiple teleporters to take you to different locations around your base. These things work on your freighter as well, which is cool, although they're a little more challenging to put on freighters sometimes, just because of how big and sprawling you can make your freighters. And speaking of big and sprawling, the center of your base is your little base computer, and I believe mine is right here. So you can build out about 300 U in any direction from this, and that is your limit. So, you know, that's a lot of space, and it works in a circle, and there are ways to stretch it, and we will get into that later on if you need to stretch out the distance that you can use. But for now, we're going to work within that 300. So that's why it was nice to build right there. This is only 154 away. I wanted a close by resource. I didn't want something that was, you know, too far away that we have to be able to stretch things. We're not ready to get that into building as of yet. Now let's go check our Faceum and see what's going on. honestly looks like, I can't tell if it's going down or not, to be honest with you. But look at that, we've collected half of it already, right? We just refill everything. Maybe if I load out and come back in, we'll see a difference. I don't know. We're gonna have so much poop. We're not gonna know what to do with it. I've never mined poop before, I'll be honest with you. This is a new one for me. But while we're at it, we'll also go check our oxygen, and I'll show you real quick how that yield works and all that, because it costs 80 to go in normally. Now, of course, again, this is the creative guy, this is my building guy, so it costs literally nothing, but for a regular game, it costs 80. For, I think for the high resource one, it cost me about, like if I turn it all the way to the hardest, I think it was like 120 or something like that. So you still gain from it, you just don't gain as much. So boom, we'll fill it up, we'll empty it out. I think the weirdness with this is having them too close together, and that's why they're acting funny, and that was probably the same thing with those other items there. The mining units. But yeah, that's some more tech that's really good to have on your base, and some basic building techniques for using the non-modular building parts. You can really go to town with those things. I've seen some incredible buildings. I've done some interesting stuff myself with them, but yeah, I have nowhere near the talent level that some of these people have. I got to tell you, some of the things I've seen are just awe-inspiring. And just to show you real quick, we turn that 80, 160, 240 oxygen into, and take it, whoop, 240 into 750, and then you can turn it right back into carbon, just like that. And then you can go refill them and over, and that's a good way to build up a lot of oxygen early game before you have the ability to set up an oxygen mine. All right, everyone. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this second basic building video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and I thank you very, very much for being here today. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. And do not forget to leave a comment down below and a like on the video. It greatly helps me out. And if you share us on social media, I appreciate that as well. Uh-oh. I'll see you next time. I just heard something that sounded interesting. I'll be damned. Look at that. We got us. And it's cool as hell. We got us a badass looking little exotic. I didn't think there was one in this system. Huh. Well, we are definitely going to make an offer on this ship and buy it, because it's going to be free anyway. And we got ourselves a new ship, the Hawk of Jeopardy. Look at that, guys. That's a special bonus there. I'm going to go ahead and give you the coordinates to the planet again. I think I have the planetary coordinates. Yeah, I'll go get those so you can come here right away. If you want this ship, you can go right to this base. You'll see it on the, you'll see it when you get into the system and all that. Come right here, sit here, and get this cool looking ship. Check it out, man. It's like a yellow tan. Kind of hard to say. Totally cool, though. All right, well, let me go get the planetary coordinates, or the portal coordinates, I should say. Be right back. All right, so here's the ship in all its beautiful glory. You can see the colors a lot better on the space station than you can down on the planet's surface. And yeah, it's cool, like a mustard yellow, goldish color. I mean, depending on how you see color. I've gotten plenty of arguments over color in my life, and You know, some people say that's yellow, some people say it's gold. I say it's mustard gold. All right, let's go ahead and get the portal location. All right, let's get that portal address for everybody. And there it is up on the screen. Take a screenshot of it, write it down, use your photographic memory, whatever it takes. But this is where you can come to get that cool looking ship. Got it? Got it. All right. Well, thanks everyone. As always, I'm Cat the Beefy with the Game Vault. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell for notifications. Don't forget to leave a comment and a like on the video down below. Let me know if it helped you out in any way, shape, or form, even if it was just that surprise bonus ship at the end. Now you see why I like building at those bases. And I don't know if you noticed, you may want to rewind and go back to that, but I could hear there's a specific sound that these exotics make when they land that's different than all the rest of the ships. And it kind of like, my ears, you know, if I was a dog, my ears would have just perked up at that point. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, I got to go get that thing. All right. So share us on social media too. That's always appreciated. I will see you next time. Until then, peace.